Camera's rolling.
Baby, I'm too young to know any better, but I guess I'm just too old to care. I'm waiting on the morning light to clear the air. Now the sky is on with regret. Letting go, then you pay flags. All the silence that keep me coming back. I'm the one that you hated. You know, the one you didn't want to believe. The one that you hated. Take a look at me now. I'm the one that you created. The one that you hated.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Dad Talk Today. It's the weekend. Hope everybody is having a good start of the weekend. For me, it's actually Wednesday. I'm having to pre-record some of the shows, so I'll give you that little tidbit. As always, I'll probably be down there with you in the comments. But today on Wednesday, I'm recording this now because I just got through watching the show that I recorded on Monday for Wednesday. And I was taking some notes. Wanted to sit back and kind of see some of the energy that was being thrown off and things that were being said. And I've got a few observations, and there's a reason I want to record this right now. I do not feel well. It's crazy because the 2 days before that, I felt the best I had in a long time. Right now, I don't. But I think that's the importance behind today's message, is showing up even when you don't feel like it, right? Nobody said this was going to be easy. When you fight for what you believe, it's not always going to be easy. You're not going to want to show up. But if you know what you're fighting for, that's a reason to show up. Many ways you can support the show down there at the bottom. Cash App, Venmo, Patreon, Dad Talk Today, no spaces. We got the memberships and super chats over there on YouTube. Got the same thing on Facebook. Make sure to go to dadtalktoday.com, get your gear, drink your coffee with that face on it. And please don't forget about that fundraiser for John Mast. It's public knowledge now that there is a wrongful death lawsuit going on, and I want to make sure that the family's got everything they need in order to be able to fight that. All right, let's get into this, guys. Like I said, there was a couple of observations. It was easy for me to kind of sit back and watch myself on the screen and be like, maybe you should have done that one different, or maybe too much energy, and maybe this. But, I realized I was doing to myself what other people seem to do too. It's easy to be the person on the other side of the screen saying, you should have said this different, or you should have done this, or you should have done this. But even though I might not be feeling well, I'm proud of that guy that put that work in and that got out there and did what he did. I think there's some misconceptions sometimes, and I just wanted to clear up just some of the advocates out there that mean well. I mean, we got people that show up here every single day. I know of at least 20 of you that I can depend on. As soon as that show starts, you're going to be down there in the comments, and thank you. You're very loyal people, and lots of new faces as well. And I want you to realize, I'm not always talking to you. Okay. It's part of the problem that I have with some of the feminists and the single moms, or the families that are still together. When they come in there and they see what we're talking about, nothing that you guys are saying matters, because that's not my situation. So you are lying. And we didn't say that the situation that I'm talking about right now belongs to everybody. But I know enough after doing this for a while that there are so many broken men out there hiding in the shadows that have gave up, that don't know what it's like to have that vision anymore. They don't know what it's like to put into themselves. They don't know what it's like to experience happiness. They don't know what it's like to feel like they matter. Some of the simple things that we're saying. And besides all of that, they damn sure don't know how to get involved. But that doesn't mean they're not sitting back watching this saying, I want something to happen. I want my life to change. I just don't know how to get involved. And so when you see the high energy and you see some of the things that I'm doing, I'm trying actually to go back and look at myself. And I guess that's why I talk about my personal situation so much. And let me say, I don't mean to do that. Okay. And I know I repeat some of those stories sometimes, but it's where I have to go in order to remember what was you going through in that point of time that somebody could have, hey, McFly, you know, hit you across the head and said, wake up, dude. You're a prisoner inside of your own mind. You're putting limits on yourself. You know, I wish I could have started some of the things I'm doing now years ago. We might be way further along, but I had to go through the trials and tribulations that I went through. I had to walk those very depressing moments in my head to be able to come and speak to those very ones right now. And when I do that, it's not as a guy that knows better or anything. It's just as a brother that loves you and says, man, don't become a victim of your own head. Don't become a prisoner of your problems. Stop putting limits on yourself. Inside of each and every single one of you is something special. These dads don't think they matter. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. And it's easy when we're in here talking to our own community for us to understand. But when people from the outside come in and they see what we're talking about, these guys are nuts. Again, victim mentality. Talking to a good friend back from high school yesterday, loves what we do here, but he's, man, I do got to tell you, and I say this out of love. A lot of what I see on Dad Talk, it seems sexist sometimes. It seems misogynistic. I was like, okay, why you say that? He's like, man, there's a lot of dads that, you know, they're not good, and they don't want to be in their kids' lives. I said, okay, I said, all right. And he was like, I don't know that it's you know, I guess because I've never been through it. He's never been through a divorce. He's like, I guess because I've never been through it, I can't relate. Now he knows a little bit about my personal story. I grew up with the guy, but you know what I did instead of saying, like, look what I went through, you know? And I think that's one of the first things that people want to do is look what I went through. Or let me tell you a story about this guy. Has a new daughter, has a 6-year-old child. And I looked at him, I said, can you let me do something for a second? He's like, yeah. I was like, I want you to imagine later on today when you go home, you find out you're going through a divorce. I was like, now half of your retirement, and he's working full time so mom can stay at home. And for a nuclear family, I'm okay with that. At the same time, you get blindsided with this divorce. Now she's going to get half of your retirement, may even get the house, may even get the car. She can go get the best attorney. You're going to have to pay for it. Not always, but you're at least going to have to pay for your attorney. Now, because you've got some issues or something in your past that you dealt with, it gets brought up, made to make you look like that's who you are now. Man, I could get full cussies. Like, that's what everybody thinks. Now, you are trying to find you a new home. You're doing with whatever you got. Maybe you go back and work at your parents. Now you're paying her that child support. Maybe you're even paying her alimony too. She starts dating a new man. Now you're only seeing your kid every other weekend, maybe once a month, or maybe you're having to go to supervised visitations. And in the meantime, while you're doing that and working that job and everything is going back out, now an attorney and a judge and your ex is getting more of your own money than you are. While that's happening, this new guy that she just met that had nothing to do with bringing your kids in the world, she's telling the kids to call him daddy. And now your kids are calling you by your first name. Oh, man, that had never happened. That had never happened. That's crazy. I was like, it happens every single day. And I was like, those are the guys I'm talking about in here. And they are way more of them. There's way more than what you can ever imagine. But until I told that story through his life, made him walk a mile through you guys' shoes, he didn't get it. Now, would that have been as effective if I would have said, now let me tell you about my divorce and things that I went through? No, I wanted to walk him through that journey, make him feel that. There's not many people here who have been through that journey, and when they see us, it looks ridiculous. And so that was another thought in my head when watching that show is somebody that's not familiar with these issues, they hear me in here, guys, you got to have vision. You got to believe in this movement. You got to take care of yourself. You got to do this. You got to do this. If we don't organize like this movement and never take it, it probably looks like a bunch of hoopla. I know that. I'm working on some ways outside of the podcast to relate more to people on the outside and show them the stories to make them think about it through their own lens. I've used the podcast as that place that you can come and you can feel safe to talk about these issues and know that people relate to you. At the same time, guys, you got to show up even when you don't feel like it. And you know why I'm showing up today? Do you know why I'm doing this? I wanted to show you in the moments when I don't have that energy, when I feel like I just want to go lay over here on the couch and go to sleep. I got to show up, man, because I want to see that day happen. One of the hardest things is showing up, wanting to get different results, and it might be the same as yesterday, but you never know. We might be talking to one person here today that wasn't here yesterday, and they need to hear what's going on. This movement has been on repeat, the hamster on the wheel. Today, we'll have a new advocate that finds their way in here that thinks their case is special. Nobody else has ever went through what they've went through. You'll have the new advocate that's going to plan the 1 Million Man March up in Washington, D.C. You're going to see the same ideas that people have been doing for 50 freaking years. And then when you tell them, look, that's been done, it doesn't quite work that way, they start thinking that there's ulterior motives or something because, look, they don't have the experience that some of us advocates that have been doing the work have, you know? I guess sometimes also when we were marching those capitals in 43 states, when we were at those conferences doing 16-hour days talking to politicians, when we were doing some of these things, the movement wasn't there with us. So we knew the work that was being put in, but they didn't. They didn't get to get the blisters on their feet. They didn't get to see the financial troubles that doing this causes. They don't get to see, just because we're selling t-shirts, we're not selling hundreds or thousands. They don't get to see the problems that are going on. And it's easy for the outside to say, you need to do this. And I'm talking to you guys in the comments because it's one of the biggest problems I see. It's usually the ones that do the least that complain the most. And it's usually the ones who's got the bright ideas that are the ideas that have been done hundreds of times. And so when I say this, it's not to throw off on anybody. It's to say, like, there's no one person that's going to be able to do this. And so when I take these breaks to say, what is your vision, man? What are you putting into your own life? It's actually showing people that they are good enough and that they matter. And I'm really hoping that I'm getting this message out and it's going through that screen and it's reaching the ears of that guy that's gave up. They've gave up. I'm going to tell you, those are some of the hardest people to talk to. They'll be the ones that show up. Nobody loves me. Nobody wants me. Nobody cares about what I'm going through. Cussing. I mean, the whole 9 yards. And they just put out this energy that nobody wants anything to do with them. And then they think it starts becoming a worldview of who everybody else is rather than saying, what do I need to do to myself? We have a lot of those people in this space. I want you to understand why I feel like they are justified in that. When everything has been stripped from them, that's where they go. These are the people that we are left with that want to see change to help create change. And then the guys on the other side of this that have never been through that experience are looking back thinking sexism, misogyny, whatever. I'm a blue pill guy, happy wife, happy life. Right? So the ones that we have, we're very limited with. They don't have money to contribute. They don't have a healed mind. Many of them have lost vision. And as we've seen over the past several decades, many of them have lost the will to live, let alone want to get in here and become a part of the solution. We've got to talk to them, no matter how crazy the outside world thinks it is. And that's why we got to show up. That's why we got to show up. You know, again, sitting back watching my own show. Like I said, there was times I wanted to be like, man, tone down, watch what you're doing. But then again, I found myself being my own worst critic. As I said, when I was in there, I was confident in what I was doing, knowing you're speaking to somebody. Now, I had one person that first day when I finally let all my energy out. Okay. And that's who I am, guys. That is who I am. That is not an act. That's not anything. When I get passionate behind it and when my energy's flowing and I'm ready to go, I just got to let it out. But it was just, it gets old. There's so many people that think they got the different ideas or that they're supposed to be some leader to tell everybody else what they're supposed to be doing. And that was one thing that I was trying to get out in that show. Be the CEO of your own life. You don't have to have anybody manage you. Okay, we need a leader. Okay, you need a leader. But before you say you need somebody else to lead your life, can you start by doing it for yourself? That's where the real power comes, man. Imagine thinking that I got to have a GPS and somebody to tell me every little thing I'm going to do. This was your opportunity. This was your life. This is your voice. This is your story. You're writing the chapters. You just really want to hand that over to somebody else and say, you become the producer in my own life and tell me where it's going to go? There is so many talents that are being wasted with inside of some of you guys, and you lost it. In the middle of this family law battle, in the middle of these troubles, you lost it. And you don't know how to re-find it. And that's all your brother Eric right here is trying to do right now is get it, dude. Get it. When I think back about, I was talking about going and finding that little kid. Would they be proud of who you are now? That little boy that's inside of you. Even go back to high school or middle school. When we were young and teenagers, we were ambitious. We thought we could do anything, man. We were so competitive, right? We were so competitive in the sports and stuff. Guys are naturally competitive. This is the one place where we are not being competitive. We've got to organize and we've got to come together and realize there is going to be many different roles played. Now, I didn't have the I can't do anything or, nobody loves me or I don't have anything to get. I didn't have that when I was going and talking to politicians. Like I'll look at it and give me some research. We'll try to get a bill and whatever. I could go back and play that. And I guess that's why that was so attractive, because it's like, what do I do? Go and talk to people that said they can make change, or the ones over here that believe it can't happen. Right? I even question myself sometimes, but I truly believe that the answer is you guys. When I ask you to show up, I heard somebody say, oh, that's it. I'm being a bad listener. It's not about being a listener, dude. You understand that the second this is over with, I want Dad Talk to be over with as well. I've got other things I want to work on, man. But this is my life's work. And the only way we're going to overcome those numbers right there with the thumb held down on us, these million-man marches that people are saying that we're supposed to have, do you think that any mainstream media is going to promote your march on Washington, D.C. or at your Capitol? Do you think they're going to organize or give you the handbook on how to turn this around? Because I haven't ever seen it. It is up to us, and it's breathing life into the movement. I've never seen a movement of so many broken people in my life who have forgot what it's like to have a vision. And then with the competitiveness, you find something that you disagree with your brother on, and then you just completely write him off. I watched his one comment came on the other day. Don't listen to that guy. He's a fraud. I was like, what? You know what the reason behind that was? Because when I get off of here, I'm a stepdad. Because I became a stepdad, I'm fake. Mm. Can you imagine trying to cancel out somebody's hard work, blood, sweat, and tears? Because after I got out of a torturous marriage, I went and found somebody that I love, and we're having a happy life together. That's a person that lacks vision. Like I said, I understand the go your own way perspective. I do. But I don't believe that's the answer for the world, because if all men go their own way, there won't be any men left. Is there a justification for why they're doing it right now? Yeah. Get your head out of your own asses, man. You don't have to agree with everybody around here, but some of the people that are hurting the most, you're never going to know it. I know you got the ones that are constantly, my life is torture. My life is the guy that's not talking, that acts like everything's okay, that's got the mask that you got to worry about. Usually the loudest ones, they're just wanting somebody to listen to them. But that guy that just wears it and doesn't talk, and then they come in here and they get a little bit of hope. And because you disagree with them on one thing, you try to discourage one of the very people that needs to be here the most. Shame on you. Don't ever do that. Don't ever do that. I might get down there and let you guys know I completely and vehemently disagree with some of the stuff you say sometimes, but it doesn't mean I want you to go away. Because we need you here. And if we are going to change the world, we've got to change ourselves. If we are going to become a movement, we've got to learn how to build a movement. Movement means going forward, not saying, get out of here. We've got to move forward. We've got to start recruiting, getting people in here, creating our own resources. There's a lot of people that still think that the whole answer to the movement is getting free legal help. I don't believe in that system. I don't. I can't. I've seen people do everything they can going through that system, and it fails them. But when you run away people with some of this energy from your own brotherhood and from your own movement, I want you to think about something. What are you doing to the people on the outside watching? They're not going to touch it with a 10-foot pole. I'm glad we got the people in here that relate to this message. But you want to know when this thing is going to take off? When you got the people in here saying, you're teaching me something I didn't know. Thank you. We've got to get some of the people from the outside in. Because this is a message that is affecting millions. I dare say billions. Because it's affecting women and it's affecting children just like it is men. And I can realize and understand, like I said, some of the criticism for somebody that's never been through it. Hell, 6 years ago or before I started going through my divorce, had I saw this particular movement, I might not have understood it either. Dude, when I started the show, the ones that came to me about false allegations and stuff like that, I thought you were full of crap because I hadn't been through it. I can admit that to you. I was different. I kept my eyes and my ears open, and eventually along the way I learned, but I was in here listening to it every day. So what happens when the people that we're trying to promote this, we call it awareness. Well, what happens when people don't even listen? We've got to change the way we get the message out there. Right? And I know the intensity and the passion behind it. Sometimes you just want to be like, here it is. But and then it starts by taking these broken guys and giving them a hand and helping them up and saying, I love you. I don't know you. I'm connected to you. through what you've been through because I share the same story. I know you want to think that your story is something different, but you have no idea how much we are alike. But that doesn't make your story any less important. It just means welcome to the club. Welcome to the army. Welcome to the revolution. Can you help us in fighting this thing? Instead of finding out ways that we can support or other solutions, you'll just get well, don't vote. It doesn't do anything. Well, thank you. Okay, guys, don't vote. Let's sit at home, talk about how bad this thing is, and don't vote. Am I saying that your vote's going to matter right now? I mean, we don't have enough of us to make it. I'll be honest with you. But when I say we are billions, there is enough of us to really make a difference in this world. Why aren't men working together? This is just a weird thing because like I watch, some of the women's movement. By God, dude, I was in church long enough, to know. I'd see what went on Sunday. Ladies gossip so bad. A lot of them can't stand each other, but buddy, when they come together, they'll organize. They will organize. Men haven't learned that one yet. We haven't. But again, we need the march. Get 500 people in D.C. And let me tell you, I'd be happy of you. At the same time, billions. And then that's what's showing up. First, we've got to learn how to organize on that smaller level. And it's going to take showing up. When I ask you guys to invite people, I'm not trying to shame you because you didn't do what I said. Every day that I come on here and those steps aren't taken, I know I've got to say it again. The next day, I got to say it again. People are going to take it in the wrong way, not knowing that I'm trying to say, grow this thing so we can be done with it, right? Because that's what it is. Grow this thing so we can be done with it. The reality, we don't have the numbers to fight it yet. I don't even have the money coming off of this to take care of my own responsibilities, let alone fight a revolution. And you know what happens if we ask for it? Organizations will fight over money, and God forbid you make $5 or $10 in donations by doing something that you work so hard towards and you got passion for. Because now you're trying to make money off of it. Family attorneys make hundreds of thousands of dollars on it, and even they'll come in there and try to say they're making money on it. He got $5. You know what it's going to take to organize? Even a rally in D.C. I mean, that's Jesus, man. Most of these guys are broke. You know what it's going to cost them to fly to D.C., to get that hotel room, to get that Uber there, to eat while they're there, in order to get enough people there to make a difference? Probably looking at millions. If you wanted 1 million people there, you're talking about tens of millions to make that happen. Have you seen the cost of everything that's going on right now? We're so disconnected from reality, finding realistic expectations. And what I would love to see as a movement, us set small goals, achieve them, then make more. Achieve it, then make more. We want to go from here to here. I want it from it's bad to it's over. Being honest with you guys, I would love that too. I would love that too, because I'm ready for it to be over. I am tired. I was pissing my own self off, watching myself with the energy on the screen. Like, can you feel it? Feels so good. It feels good to be doing this. And then today it was sitting back, like beaten, broken, not feeling good, no energy. But I got to do dad talk today. Because that's what I'm supposed to be doing. So looking through that screen, thank you for showing up. Thank you for everybody that showed up today, yesterday, in the past, anybody that's going to show up in the future. You are a part of this solution. Guess one of the biggest things I want to come over on that screen, I'll put the energy in it. I'll try to rally the guys up, but I need you. Your kids need you. This movement needs you. Let me take the I out of it. This movement needs you. If dads don't fix it, it's not going to get fixed. Who is sitting by waiting to fix the family courts, CPS, bias? I mean, who's sitting by waiting to do it? Dude, I've went to some of these meetings, with organizations that's got fatherhood in their name, thinking, if we talk about some of this, that they're going to get it. And you get there and this ain't even a part of the conversation. Like the family law and the challenges that you're going through. It's not even a part of the conversation, man. Who is waiting on doing it? It comes back on us, guys. It comes back on us. And I guess the reason why, like I said, that energy comes out like it does is because I know I'll show up, I'll fight, but I'm nothing. Dad Talk Today, Eric Carroll, my team, the things we do, we are nothing without you. And there's no shortage of people needing help right now. And I think when we hear that cry for help, we want to go put out that little fire, while the big forest fire over here is blazing. We want to go put out, the little fire that's going on over here. We've got to get our people to go after that big fire. Look, man, when they have those wildfires, they don't just send one firefighter out there. He's not going to be able to put out that thing. They got to go get planes and helicopters, and they'll call in fire departments from all over to come and put out this one big fire. Well, that's what this thing is one big fire. We're going to have to pull them all together. And until that moment happens, you're seeing this. Now, I'm not saying we got to have every dad that's ever went through this or every man on the face of this earth become a part of this solution. But could we get 1%? Could we get 1%? The 1% could change it for the 99%. And those dads also are probably going to be some that are broken, beaten down, tired, don't feel like showing up. You're not showing up for yourself. Maybe you are. You're not just showing up for yourself. That's a better way of putting it. You're showing up for the overall movement. When I can have the high energy, I'll have the high energy. When I don't, I'm not going to fake it with you guys. I think sometimes I go into it doing that thinking, this is going to be it, man. This is going to be it. And then the next day, it's like, I got to do it again. Shit. You know what I mean? If that's what it takes, man, that's what it takes. Restoring families, restoring homes, restoring common sense, restoring decency. It's just crazy how we got here in the first place. When the podcast started getting the deaths that was going on, the parents and the kids, it did a number on me and really made me kind of look at this thing in a different direction. There was more of a sense of urgency, because I know when you see me looking in that screen saying, I need you here. Did you invite 10 people? Tell them to invite 10 people. Tell them to invite 10 people. Don't think of that as Dad Talk means numbers. There was another article that came in just yesterday about another child passed away. Every day that we don't do that, I know what the news cycle is going to say. Would you please look at it that way instead of the guy on the screen inviting you to a show or asking you to be an audience member? I'm not asking you to be an audience member. I'm not asking you to be a listener. I'm asking you to be one of my brothers and to fight this damn thing with me, right? Show up even when you don't feel like it. Work towards it even when you don't feel like it. And if everybody does a little bit, guys, we can get this thing somewhere. That's all I've got, man. That's all I've got today. I just wanted to come on and say those things. Don't ever think I'm throwing off on any specific person or anything. Don't ever get it twisted. And it can be easy to do. Okay. Especially when you see this guy speaking on the screen, and I am trying to get personal when I say that person in the screen. Let me get you. I'm trying to find that guy wherever he's at. The broken, beaten down dad that's trying to give up hope right now. No, get in here. And so it might seem like I'm talking to somebody specifically. I'm just talking to everybody. Is there anybody here that can tell me they think this movement is where it needs to be in order to create change? If I told you yes, I'd be a liar, I would be a fraud, and I wouldn't be able to live with myself. Why isn't it? Why isn't it? We can find many other reasons we can look out there, but we got to say inside of ourselves, what are we doing? I feel confident in that message. Taking off next week. Major trip. Colorado, California, Detroit. To continue telling stories and to hope to get that message out there. My biggest fear is as soon as I get through telling these 3 stories about these people who lost their lives due to this system, got 50 or 100 more on the horizon ready to go. I'd really like to see some more leaders show up, maybe even give some podcast duties over to other people, so I can get more involved in some of the other places. But until then, it's going to become a daily podcast. Don't make that start becoming emails to me saying you want a show. Please don't. I don't have time for that right now. As I see it, and when I see it, I usually can tell. Okay, you don't have to tell me. But that's what I'd like to see happen. And I got some plans. And I just hope you guys would wish us well while I'm gone over those 2 weeks. Whoever's operating the show, I think I've asked Carnell, Dwayne, Jimmy. We'll see who all wants to be involved. Please show up, support them. And when I get back, I might be a little tired, but we're gonna keep this train rolling, babe. We're gonna keep it rolling. And I ask you tomorrow, invite somebody, whether it's your own family. Maybe you don't have anybody you can talk to right now. If you can't, I'm not looking down on you, man. But when I speak the things that I'm doing, you got to understand who I'm talking to. The person that's not going through those issues, that doesn't understand it, there might be a reason why you don't understand it. There is people out there that when they hear these words come out of my mouth, they know who I'm talking to. And we need them to wake up. I can't stand seeing these statistics, man, and these guys that don't think that they belong here anymore. Yes, you do. It's going to take a different energy to talk to them than it is this healthy person over here. You understand? It's going to take a different energy. And that's where you're seeing the high energy. Man, I'd rather get on here and sling my arms or say whatever I've got to than to ever know. We could have brought hope into somebody's life and said, don't do it. Don't do it. Make sure you're encouraging people today. Some people might be doing everything they can just to show up. And if so, we appreciate you. At the same time, if you do the same things you've always done, guys, we're going to get the same things we've always got. We want to see the movement change. Guess where that starts? That's Dad Talk.
Hey everybody, Eric Carroll here. Thank you for tuning in to another exciting episode of Dad Talk Today. While we fight for you, we would ask for you to please help fight for us. Like, subscribe to our channel, and ring that bell so you get notifications every time we go live. There's also Super Chats, patreon.com/dadtalktoday, and other ways you can support